You're listening to Straight Talk with Dean and Mark. We appreciate you tuning in to one of our pre-recorded episodes.
Hey, how's it going there, Steven?
How are you, Mark?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm just trying to get used to this other room that I'm using here because it's another office, and the lighting is not as good as my other one, but it's not bad. I think I look okay. So
yeah, you look good.
You having a time trying to find a barber for your beard, huh?
Yes, definitely. My barber is definitely he's been incapacitated by the coronavirus, so I did a little trimming yesterday. We'll probably do a little bit more this evening, but he said that I can probably see him hopefully sometime next week, or he might come to see me.
Oh, well, the good thing is you get to grow a good beard. I never get that far with mine, so I always have to cop out in like another few days. Mine just doesn't get like yours. And the good thing is you'll be ready for a good Santa Claus role, and by the time December comes around.
Yeah, by the time December comes around, I've actually got a friend that supplies what they call Black Santa Claus, and he's been doing that for a number of years. And he was teasing me that he's going to hire me next year. He's done it now for 2 years at the Cultural Arts Center that I work at.
Okay. Well, you'll be ready. You'll be ready. The beard will be ready.
I'll be ready for it, totally.
That's it.
But I don't know if I want that role. That many young kids running around, harassing, torture you. Not sure I want that, but
yeah,
we'll
I had a friend of mine who did that once, who did some photography at a mall, who he did the job during Christmas, and I don't think he ever did it again after that.
He was through after that. He was like, nope, don't want to do it anymore. You can't make me do it.
If you've ever
I don't blame him. Tell me, how did you decide to do this whole spin and social thing? Because I'm just fascinated by it. Like I told you, my dad's a photographer, and he's glad that you liked his title, as did your buddy liked that title, Bamboo Turtle, because I told him about that a couple of days ago that I had
well, it's a fascinating title. I mean, Bamboo Turtle. I like that. It's very exotic and it's very interesting.
Yeah. Well, he's always had an interest in both of those things. He's actually grown bamboo, and he's collected a number of turtles for many years and has some fascinating turtle stories. Like he went to China and he kidnapped a turtle, and then he had a land tortoise.
Kidnapped the turtle?
Huh? Yeah.
Kidnapped
the turtle came back to the United States. But he also had a turtle that was a land tortoise, Buttercup, that lived in the back of his house in a doghouse, and lived a pretty good life. I mean, turtles live long lives, particularly the big turtle, so it probably didn't live as long as most turtles do of that era, but it was a adorable turtle in the back, and he loved hanging out with that turtle.
Yeah, no, there's a place by me over here in Ramsey, New Jersey, in a place called Allendale. And there's a nature preserve there called the Celery Farm. And I go there for walks and stuff. And I didn't realize until one day I was by the pond lake area that I saw these two humongous, I mean, the biggest I've ever seen. They look prehistoric, snapper turtles. And they were so big that I didn't know what I was looking at first. I'd never seen a turtle this big. And at least in this part of the country. I mean, I've been to St. Lucia and other places where I saw 800-pound leatherback turtles nesting on the beach at midnight one night. But on a safari thing I went on the beach. But I never saw them in this part of the country. So, but anyway, yeah, they live a long time, I was told, and they're just incredible, So, but anyway, about your question, how I got into this. Well, I always had it in the back of my head that I was I wanted to learn years ago doing voiceovers and stuff. I was always interested in that because I was told years ago that I had a really good voice. Mm-hmm. So I thought about it, but I never did it. So then I had been thinking for the past 3 years or so about doing a spin it social type of show. But when live streaming started to really come into play, but I really didn't have any focus, pardon the pun, on it. But the thing is that I had to find a reason. I didn't want to just do a show just to do a show.
Right.
So I had a lot of topics, a lot of ideas, and it could have been very well-rounded, or it could have been totally something different. When this COVID crisis hit, I was just starting to teach at FIT and teaching social media to photography students of all things. So I thought about it when this COVID crisis hit and photographers were losing jobs left and right. Everything was shutting down. And I had this thought in my head for a while. And I thought about a buddy of mine who's been doing a podcast for a while named Robert Kaplan, but his name is spelled Caplin. Mm-hmm. And Robert is a fantastic photographer who used to freelance for the Times and many other big outlets. And he had a deal with Adorama in New York where he did a podcast called The Photo Brigade every week. His is strictly about photography and video too and stuff like that, but it's not a social media oriented.
Right.
I wanted to make mine more about photography, social media, entrepreneurship, and reinventing yourself and all these types of things mixed into one. So I already had the name Spin It Social, which I thought was a really good, handle for social media in general. And then I incorporated it a while back. And then I said, I think it'll work for a live stream or a podcast. So Sri was going full throttle with everything, teaching everybody about all this stuff. And I decided that I was going to immerse myself in it. And I found my reason. My reason was photographers were losing their jobs left and right. Mm-hmm. And I said to myself, this is my chance. I don't have a lot of money to give away. I can't go running around the way I used to because I have a family and I can't afford to be running the streets and getting infected by the virus. Not that anybody can, but if you have an assignment, you have an assignment. You're doing your job. My job is not right now to go out and just document the streets because I'm not earning a living from it. And even then, I mean, you don't have to earn a living to do something, to document something, but I have a family and I wasn't going to put myself at risk that way. But I wanted to give back. So how could I give back? I thought about it, and this was the solution. Hone my skills and really put the pedal to the metal and immerse myself in this stuff and learn it real quick with this great platform called StreamYard, and do it. So, and bring photographers on, talk about their journey, talk about their work. And also, main thing is get them a lot of play. So this way, when this crisis subsides, hopefully one day, we don't know when, this may go on for a really long time. My gut is telling me it's going to be a lot longer than people think, and people better get used to this for a while. I don't know if we're going to be quarantined per se for a long, long time. There's going to be restrictions, whatever it's going to be. It's going to be a different way of life for a while. So I wanted to help, and this is my way of helping. My way of helping is bringing 1 or 2 photographers on a week. I'm saying 2 because I'm planning a show from maybe later this month or sooner, maybe a few weeks from now, where I will I'm going to try to bring on 3 photographers at once and because they're all doing a similar subject. It just fell in my lap this weekend, like 1, 2, 3. I found one, then I found another, and then somebody told me about another, and they're all doing great work. And I don't want to let the cat out of the bag as to the topic yet, but it's phenomenal work doing photography based around the crisis right now. And I think it's going to be a great show because one of them is getting a lot of play right now, and the other 2 are doing good stuff too. So I might have a group session where we discuss the topic that they're doing, show all the work from all 3 of them, let them talk a bit too. I'll moderate it and go with it. Learn as we go, do great work, and we're all doing something productive right now,
Sounds great. Now, how are photographers doing in terms of business? I know that Sri had one of the editors on, and they were talking about how a lot of newspaper reporters are working from their home, trying to cover stories from their home. And I imagine it's kind of hard for a photographer, like you said, to do that if they've got to go out and cover. But I do have friends in the TV field, and a lot of them are actually the on-air talent is doing stuff from home and doing reporting or anchoring from home, and trying to do stories in that way. So I just wondering, in this current environment, how are folks navigating it as best you can tell?
Yeah, no. Well, that's the interesting thing that I started to dive into this week because my mindset was that so many people are being shut down, and there's a lot are. But so you have three segments. You have the editorial, you have the commercial, and you have the freelancers that are all over the place doing many different things. That's the three groups that I'm thinking about right now. There's probably a couple of more. So with the editorial, they have assignments and things like that. If they're lucky, they have enough assignments. I don't know how many assignments are being given out right now. I mean, everything is COVID related. So the chances are there are plenty of assignments, but I think it's also up to photographers as usual to also be thinking and propose things. I think that's always been a real important thing for photographers to use their own minds to come up with their own ideas for assignments and then pitch them. So that's one. Commercial is difficult. I mean, everything's shut down. I mean, how much you can't do production on somebody's corporate lawn, you know,
Right.
And things like that. Now, then you have the freelance photographers who are I'm starting to hone in on what they're doing, zoom in on what they're doing. Now, they're the ones that are impressing me right now, like the three that I'm talking about, because you have Sally Ryan, who's in California, who I'm going to be bringing on. And like I said, I may decide to do a group thing if I can put it together. I invited Sally on first. I'm hoping she's okay with it. If she will do a solo show, but I'm sure she will be. I think a group thing will be great because it'll really lend itself to a great discussion. And I think photographers want to help each other that way too. And they're all in different parts of the country too. So Sally's in one part of California. This other person who I found, her name is, let me see if I can find it here. Didi von Bach or Bach. I think it's Bach. She's in San Francisco. And then there's another photographer based in Memphis who's doing a similar project. So I'll just talk about it. They're all basically doing projects centered around doing portraits of people in their own environments right now. So, and you have another photographer right now that's super hot that found a groove for something he started doing pro bono, I believe. And he's doing great work. His name is Matt Mendelson. And he's doing a great project with seniors I believe, in Virginia. And he's either Maryland, Virginia, that area. He's doing portraits of seniors since they're not graduating per se.
Right.
They're not having a real graduation. So he felt really messed up about that. And he wanted to do something for them. So he started this project where he's doing these great portraits of them with their own joie de vivre in it, you know? Like if one student is a hockey player, he's dressed up in his hockey gear, or another student's an artist, she has her paintings around her. All these great portraits revolving around the passions that they have. So his thing is like, there's no cap and gown, there's no graduation, but we're still going to make them feel worthy of graduating and everything they've accomplished.
Right.
Well, I think that's fantastic. He was just written about in the Washington Post.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. And you're right. So many people are having these life moments that are not able to be captured. I actually just came back before getting ready to do this interview with you. A friend of mine, Brother Ray Earhart, was a activist here in the community, a very well-known activist. He does stuff from everything from anti-war movement kind of stuff to things around gentrification in a historically African-American segment of the community. And they were actually doing a tribute to him online. They were using Zoom. So there was I want to say when I left the call, there might have been some 200 people because he was very well known in the community. And a lot of these activists were from throughout the world. I think there was a gentleman either out of New York or DC. There were definitely several folks from around here. So we are finding people, even in this era that we're in, finding ways to do things and using, still reaching out to people and still having some social aspect, even though they can't do it in the more traditional way. Because there were several comments on there where people were like, I really wish we were able to be at home or be there with you to mourn with you in the traditional sense, but they were doing it online. And with the daughter of this particular gentleman and his grandson